There's a place in Africa where you can walk with lions, where you can be part of the pride. And these volunteers have a chance to do just that. They've come from all over the world to work in this unique conservation program. To see more lions hunting free in the wilds of Africa. And to engage with them like no one else on Earth. There's never a dull moment at Antelope Park.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Coming up in this exciting episode, a photographic volunteer witnesses something incredible. Meat prep is underway and there is scrapping over the lion's share. Leanne built a den in preparation for some new arrivals. The tables are turned when a zebra stallion attacks Rabubu. This is a real cat fight. And the cubs discover something new. It's early morning at Antelope Park, and the Ngamo Pride are taking it easy. Just a few weeks ago, a photographic intern volunteer witnessed an exciting event in the release site. She revisits the Pride to tell her tale.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm a film and photography volunteer here at Antelope Park. One of the reasons I chose to do this project is that it gives you more opportunities, including spending more time with the Ngamo Pride in the release site. One of the highlights of my time here so far was witnessing a kill in the release site. What made it even more special was that it was by Wakanaka, the first wild-born cub. One of the afternoon research sessions that I was in for, we were watching the lions. They were resting as they always do in the afternoon, but Wakanaka decided to go off on her own. We weren't sure what she was looking at, so me and Megs, the researcher, decided to follow her. She is known to just go off and do solo hunts on her own. She takes the initiative, so we're hoping it was one of these times. When we caught up with Wakanaka, we saw that she was looking at a herd of impala. It seemed that she was targeting the one that had a broken leg. It was also much younger than the rest. It was really great to see that. It shows that she's using her natural instincts and targeting these animals as they do in the wild. So we watched her for a few minutes, stalking. Eventually she found the right time to begin the chase. But unfortunately, the actual takedown of the impala was behind a tree. So we weren't lucky enough to witness that part, but shortly after, she did bring the kill out from behind the tree, and we saw that it was a successful hunt. She had the impala by the neck, showing it was the proper way to do it. We actually saw her put the impala down as well, and then it started to get back up, and she, put it down again, as she should. We followed her a bit as she moved the kill into some tall grass for cover, but at that point it was apparent that the rest of the pride had heard the commotion or seen something happen, because they arrived on the scene pretty quickly. Two of the cubs, Amadi and Anopa, distracted Wakanaka from the kill as she tried to defend it, and their mom Ashanti came in and stole the kill from her. So the three of them feasted on it while Wakanaka moved off. Eventually Milo came in to join the party, and when he wants something, he gets it. So he ended up with about half the impala he took from the rest of them. Spending time with the Ngamo Pride in this release site has been one of the highlights of my volunteer project here. And what made it even more special was seeing this kill. It's very rare to see a lion make a kill. What made it even more special was that it was this firstborn cub in this release site. She's a very special lion, and witnessing her make a kill on her own, initiating the hunt, going after it, doing all of it completely solo, was really amazing.
We head over to a group of volunteers whose stomachs are turning at the smell of rotting carcasses.
It's off to top meat we go. Use my hands. Success! Almost. Yes. Whew. Ugh. One. finished our meat prep. So we've cut up all the meat, we've put in the vitamins, we've put in the food, you know, the carnivore feed, and loaded it up onto our truck. And now it's time for the fun part, which is when we get to feed the cubs. So that's the next step. Next step.
So we do get inquiries from people like myself who are very passionate about conservation, and perhaps they're vegetarian or vegan, and wanting to ensure that the animals here are managed in appropriate and ethical ways. And I've always been very happy to communicate with potential volunteers about this and reassure them that the way that the projects are run here are very much ethical, and the treatment of the animals is something that I'm proud of. Obviously, I work alongside the animal managers here, and I'm constantly astounded by their level of care and professionalism, especially when there's challenges, and there's always challenges. So when you're working with animals. So I'm very happy that volunteers come here and get to experience the way conservation programs are run, and the reality of life in Africa and what it takes to progress in this world, in this challenging world of conservation, and what the needs are on the planet for animals.
Feeding the big adults is done in such a way to determine the dominant members for ultimate release into a stage 2 release site.
Now the fun begins. It's lunchtime. This is for the bigger lions. We have a bunch of them. Make a pile?
Make a pile.
Are you taking this? No?
Meat pile. Oh
That
no!
And the rest of the small pieces except the medications.
Alright. Ready? 1, 2, and 3.
Yum. It's lunchtime!
All the small pieces.
So as you can see, we've put the meat in a pile, and the reason we've done that is these lions are about 20 to 21 months, so they're fairly young and they're still establishing hierarchy, you know, who's higher up among the pride. So what we do is we put it in a pile and we let them sort out, you know, who's dominant and who's weaker. So it'll be interesting to watch who gets the meat first, who gets the better part of the meat. And here we have 4 females and 2 males. And it's important to know that the women actually do the hunting generally among the lion prides. I'm not sure if it's like in my family where the man always gets the first piece of meat first, but we'll wait and see.
The lions are released,
Really?
and the race is on to see who takes charge.
Oh!
Feeding time is always competitive, and the less dominant ones have to deal with the leftovers. Dingani, who is clearly not the dominant one in this group, tries a sneaky maneuver to get his fair share.
So basically what we saw was that the 4, I guess, more dominant ones ate first. And there's really no rhyme or reason to, you know, this one is more dominant, the female is more dominant, and her sibling didn't get meat till afterwards. And as you can see, the other 2, I guess, more weak ones or inferior ones had to kind of sneak their way in. And as they stole the meat, there was always a fight, there was resistance. But in the end, they are all letting each other eat the meat.
Although these lions get fed on a weekly basis, they do have the opportunity to make their own kills. We join a group of volunteers on a lion walk, and the cubs are looking feisty today. It's not every day you get to observe a lion kill right in front of you. Ravubu steals the impala from Rusizi and she is left with the remains. But she doesn't give up that easily and quickly follows Ravubu to where he has taken the kill. Over at the breeding enclosures, Leanne is in the process of constructing a den with the help of some volunteers. Excitement is in the air.
Right, so we've got some exciting news at our breeding program. One of our females is pregnant and she's due any day now. So we've just been gathering some poles to build a den for her in her enclosure, just that she's sheltered. We are still in our rainy season, so we just make sure that she needs to have a shelter in case it rains so that the cubs don't get wet. And obviously it is getting a bit chilly at night time here, so we just need something to shelter them from the wind and from the rain. So that's what we're doing now. We're just offloading all the poles and then we'll start building the den for her. Okay, so now the handlers are just digging the holes. Obviously they're doing it, not me, because they're the strong, muscular guys here. Obviously they're not just working with the lions, handling the lions every day. They do a lot of stuff like maintenance and cleaning the enclosures and stuff like that. That's why we have men lion handlers and not women. Right, we've put the support poles in. Now we're not using concrete or anything to hold the poles in, so the guys are just packing in sand and rock to make sure that it's nice and strong before we put the other poles on. So that's what they're doing now.
The den has to be secure and warm to give the cubs the best chance of survival. So it's all hands on deck to get this structure completed.
We've done all we can on the den today. We've let Puzza back in and we'll return tomorrow to finish off the sides and put some thatch onto the back just to stop some wind because there was a bit of a gap in between some of the planks. The voles did a great job. We had some classical hammering going on, but we managed with a few bent nails, we managed to get there. But yeah, we'll return tomorrow and finish it off and then Puzza can move into her new home and have her new babies.
The R's are on their daily lion walk and intentions are clear. They are reluctant to give up their never-ending battle against the heroic zebras. Will they be able to finally conquer the aggressive stallion? The volunteers keep up with the lions, eager to observe their tactics.
It's really different in so many ways, and I've learned a lot, and also about the bigger picture of conservation, which I think is really important. And there's more to it than you realise. It's been a big thing for me. Sort of not just one problem or one issue, there's a lot to it. Yeah. So it's been really good, really informative, and I really hope it works. I know it's not the one sole thing to aid in, to sort of fix the problem here, but I think it's a big part of it, and hopefully it'll prove its worth soon and they'll get results.
The R's are still showing intent by not letting the zebra escape that easily. They continue stalking them, creeping ever closer. But the zebra are becoming agitated with his persistent irritation and begin to fight back. However, the lions are not backing down and continue with their mission.
Look at him. I love it when he does this in this tree. He's gonna die. Yeah.
Finally, the brave stallion takes on the annoying lions, and it's not a bluff this time.
No, this skin is designed for that. You see, so even if you bite, it's
loose, yeah.
Loose, yeah. If the skin wasn't loose, then
It'd be
Like us, we would just be ripped.
definitely, yeah. And now because the skin gets very cool and
It's a small bite for Ruvubu to remember the encounter, and for now, the lions are defeated. Meanwhile, the T's are out on a moonlight walk. The evening is the prime time for lions to make kills, and the full moon allows enough light for the volunteers to watch them in action. But something else is in store for the two young lions. They discover an African rock python, and it is not happy with the T's presence. With razor-sharp teeth, the cubs need to avoid a bite at all costs. It's amazing how nature equips the cubs with an inherent respect for snakes. Intrigued by this newfound specimen, Thule gets a little too close for the python's liking. The volunteers head back to camp with the lions. There's very little game on display tonight. Today, a group of volunteers are making toys for lion enrichment in order to keep the captive lions curious and stimulated.
We're gonna make some toys for the D's, like Dala and Tingani, and Ruvubu and Rusisi. So we're gonna make a rhino, like something they can play with and yeah, have some fun.
I'm currently attempting to rip off a piece of bark off a tree, and it's not quite working.
The girls gather the ingredients required to begin their toy-making task.
Right, so at the moment we've put the meat inside the grass, and we're just using these branch bits to tie it up, keep it all together. Makes it more of a challenge for the lions to get to it.
Inside, it's like a piece of meat, so they're gonna smell it and play with it.
Not quite the rhino they had planned.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Perhaps a giraffe? Not a bad job, whatever it is. The volunteers create different toys in order to stimulate the lion's hunting instincts. Out in the wild, lions will come across different prey species and assess whether they can make a kill. But even wild lions can lose out if they are not tactful. Therefore, lion enrichment is an extremely important part of teaching the lions to perfect their hunting skills. Now for the exciting part. Although Ruvubu's cat sensors are not so sharp today, it's left up to Rusisi, and she is quite curious. No wonder curiosity killed the cat. This is a real cat fight. It's a stalemate, and we leave Rusizi and Darla to scrap over the lion's share. The volunteers walk with the cubs and observe them as they discover the environment around them. The two cubs constantly make sure their other half is close by. Sikumi and Kariba will always remain as a pair and work together to make kills in the future. This beginning phase of their life is very important to create a strong bond between the two. The volunteers continue on their walk and come across a tortoise, a fascinating discovery for the cubs, and they are very intrigued.
Just trying to get away at the same time.
Kariba finds this new toy quite exciting. There's never a dull moment at Antelope Park.
She thinks it's gonna hurt the tortoise.
Everyone has some pictures as well, right?
Yeah.
Coming up in the next episode, Leanne introduces us to the latest additions to the park. The cubs' climbing abilities are put to the test. Nathan heads out on a gripping lion walk. Do the lions succeed in a hunt? And volunteers say goodbye to the cubs on their final walk.